Hi, and welcome to today's session. My name is Gilles Brito. I'm a psychotherapist, coach, and hypnotist that lives and works in Sudbury, Ontario, Canada. And I thought I'd do a quick video today with the holidays coming up on some 5 quick tips to stay sober during the holiday season. So the first thing that I suggest to clients, in my background, I've been a drug and alcohol counselor for 24 years. And one of the biggest things that we talk about is the importance of planning. Now, how planning comes into play is, I like using a boxing analogy that the punch that knocks you out is the punch that you don't see coming. So for a lot of my clients, we talk about preparation and the importance of preparation. So that may be before you head out to certain places, especially if you're heading out of town. Is there self-help meetings in that area, AA, NA, whatever one is most consistent with your substance of choice? Is there any activities that are coming up that may be high risk that you can kind of maybe plan around, or having the option of plan B? What I mean by that is, it's to really have some recognition and having a resolution within yourself that if you're feeling uncomfortable in any situation, that there's a person you can call or an option that you may have to leave. The best thing about that too is, especially if you have somebody coming to pick you up or whatever, it could take you out of a high risk situation, in essence give you some form of excuse to leave the situation that you're presently in. So big part, number one, is around planning. The best way to be successful is planning. One of the great mottos, quotes is, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So recognizing having a good plan in place, especially during the holiday season and the people that you'll be visiting, is an essential part of your sober process and recovery. The second thing is also consistent with the first one, and that's having systems of support. Now, that may be a friend, it may be a relative, it may be a brother, it may be a cousin, but somebody that you have talked to that may be your ally if you're feeling uncomfortable in any kind of situation. I know for people that I was close to, they just kind of said, can I give you a signal, or can I give you a call if I'm struggling? People in my personal life. And I was always try to make myself readily available to them. So it's having that may be a sponsor if you're staying in the same local town, a sponsor that you can connect with, or if they're comfortable in doing so, a sponsor that you can call if you're out of town, maybe visiting family or friends when you're out of town. It's always best if you have somebody in the area, a person that you can kind of go to with, especially if you're dealing with a little bit more high-risk situations, and they can kind of have a calming influence on you and helping you deal with the anxieties that may come up in dealing with high-risk situations. Sometimes also your support system can include somebody like me, a psychotherapist, or somebody that you talk to or have talked to on a regular basis. And I know for some of my clients during the holidays, they ask to bump up care, meaning they want to increase the frequency in which I see them because they recognize that the time of the year may stir up more emotions, whether that be sadness, anger, or fear. And so having a good plan in place and having some supports in place as our number 2 factor can increases your chances of surviving the holidays with your health intact. The next thing is the importance of movement. Now, I talk a lot about movement with clients, not in a weight loss way. My philosophy around that is I can never outrun a fork. Stupid forks are always faster. But it's really around the importance around mental health. And this is what I mean. If you recognize that anxiety, when a person feels anxious, it feels like your breath is more and more up your throat. So it feels like you can't catch your breath. You could say similarly for when a person is stuck in sadness, that it feels like you hold your breath a lot more. So, if you ever watched a person that's trying not to cry, they really kind of hold their breath. Same thing is true with when a person is angry. Their breath rate might increase, but the shallowness in which their breath is the intake of the in-breath is much more shallow than if you're in a relaxed state of mind. So how movement comes in is quite simple. If I told you to sprint 100, 200 yards, you would be what? winded. That's the point. So it's really important during the holidays that you have some movement in. Now, I'm not talking about that you need to run 10 kilometers. I'm just simply suggesting that you move your body for 20 minutes, be it on a treadmill if you're feeling that it's too cold outside, if you live in Canada like I do, or just dancing. It could be anything that gets your heart rate going, that gets you breathing a little bit more, and that brings you back into that diaphragmatic breathing. The essence of breathing. Recognize always that you can go out without food for probably 2-3 weeks. You can only go without breath for a few seconds. So the importance of breath is critical to a healthy holiday season. Number 4 is quite simple. People, places, and things. They talk about this quite frequently within self-help programs. So it's the importance or the avoidance of slippery places. They say that slippery places leads to slips. And slips, if you think of the acronym SLIP, stands for sobriety, lost its priority. So by staying away from people, places, and things that are, let's say, sustaining behaviors for addiction, we want to do more behaviors that are sustaining for the abstinence part of your life. So avoiding certain people, avoiding certain places, bars, that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's difficult I had clients say, well, if we're going to a meal at a restaurant, it's really difficult, especially if they serve alcohol there. But it's always reminding yourself of the purpose why you're there. If you're going to a bar in which the majority of people drink, then the question is always, what are you doing there? But if you're going to a restaurant with other members of your family or a network of friends, and you're really there to eat, then that's the purpose that's served. So being really paying attention to the people in your life that trigger old behaviors. Sometimes it is the places, and sometimes it's the things. And this is what I mean. I was working one time in a recovery home, and the fellows in the home, because it was the holidays, asked me if they could play some music. And I said, sure, no problem. Now, at the time, in the recovery home where I was working, it was okay to smoke within a certain room, which was our pool area. So they had asked also if they could invite a couple friends to come over to join them in playing some pool, and that they would keep the noise down to a minimum. So I said, sure, as long as it doesn't bother any residents, that's fine. Now, during that night, I had a couple of people that were triggered, and I didn't know why at the time, but they were triggered, and they came to my office quite upset, just kind of saying, I don't know why, I'm feeling like I'm craving, and we talked about the holiday season and all that, and they said, no, it's not that at all. I don't know, I just really felt like I wanted to drink. Now, when I went downstairs, what I noticed within the pool area, a couple things. As I was walking to the door, and this is not against the band because I love the band, but AC/DC Back in Black was playing. There was smoke covering the room like a blue cloud. And, the people were playing pool, and there were some girls there, and obviously it's a male recovery home, so there's some girls and some guys there. And when I looked at the room, and it was interesting, what we were serving at that time was also apple juice. Now, when I looked at the surrounding, everything was the same as a bar, meaning the apple juice easily mimicked the look of beer, the girls, the music, all that kind of stuff. So sometimes it's things, emotions, auditory sounds that may trigger you. And again, it's to tap in the other things that we had and talked about before, which is having a good plan in place if you're feeling uncomfortable, having a support system in place, knowing who you can call, increasing your movement, maybe just going out and having a walk or going to talk to somebody, whatever is kind of necessary. I think that'll be really helpful. Number 5, making sure that you have gratitude and giving back as part of your holiday theme. I know for a lot of the clients that I worked with, especially in addictions, some have really been down in their luck, and they thought in the season of giving, what could I truly give? And what I found, the ones that had most impact was how they gave back of themselves and in time. So I had some residents and clients volunteer. Sometimes they created beautiful things out of their soul as a gift. And I always found that those gifts, I had some clients make dream catchers, and I had another one, I knit something, took him forever to learn how to knit. And it was so impactful to the people that got this as a benefit. It was just really beautiful. So And the last thing is, maybe if you're struggling at all, what I would suggest you to do is form your own gratitude list, things that you're most grateful for. Know that gratitude is the counter to fear and anger, which are the number two, 1 and 2 causes of relapse. Number 1 is anger, and number 2 is fear. So if you're able to stay in gratitude, which is really in the now, you won't let fear overcome your holidays, and you're going to be able to enjoy it even more. The last point I'm going to make is around HALT, and HALT stands for hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. Always recognizing and being fair with yourself. Maybe if you take a stop and just, if you're feeling a little off one day, ask yourself, am I really hungry? Have I fed myself today? Am I perhaps angry? Is there something that needs to be resolved? Is there somebody I need to talk to? Or maybe, like we talked about before, maybe it's good for me to just kind of move and get my brain back so I can deal with these emotions. The next one is lonely. At this time of the year, sometimes it's difficult because we've distanced our relationships from family and friends. So maybe it's making connections with new friends and new family members. Sometimes that's within self-help. And lastly, maybe you're just tired. I know with the holidays, my tradition, French Canadian, is we stay up, we do a réveillon on Christmas Eve, so you're up till 4 o'clock in the morning, usually having a big feast at 3:30 in the morning. But there's lots of lack of sleep based on everything that's going on. So maybe it's just giving yourself a break to take a nap in the middle of the day to kind of rejuvenate your batteries, and giving yourself permission to do that if need be. So that's it. That's my top 5. Having a plan, having a system of support, increasing your movement, watching out for people, places, and things, recognizing and embracing gratitude, and the last one, be careful for HALT. That's actually my top 6. I hope that this today was helpful for you. If you can, please leave any comments, questions in the comment section below. And with that, thanks so much. And I wish you all the best during this 2016 holiday season. Have a great day.